They say the cheapest ride at night might just be the last ride you ever take. Chike, a fresh graduate, ignored his mother's warning. He boarded bus 117, a faded blue bus no one seemed to notice. The driver, scared. The conductor, fingers too long to be human. Minutes into the journey, time froze. The clock struck at 12:15. Phones died. Passengers stared like lifeless shadows. Then, names were called. One by one, travelers vanished into the darkness. Their screams cut off mid-air. Whisper spread, this is not a bus to Lagos, it's an altar. When the conductor's red eyes fell on Chike and Ngozi, she raised her Bible and cried, the blood of Jesus. The bus shook, shadows dissolved, then they leaped into the void. Instead of death, they hit asphalt. Cars swerved, dawn broke, the bus gone. The legend remains, not every bus is ordinary, and some tickets are one way to the other side. It was a cold Friday night in July. The kind of night when the roads looked endless and the darkness felt alive. At a crowded motor park in the city of Enugu, people were hurrying to catch their night buses to different destinations. Traders with heavy bags, students returning home, young men traveling for work, mothers with children on their backs. Everyone in a hurry, everyone desperate to leave before the last bus rolled out. Among the echoes, one bus stood quietly at the far corner of the park. It was painted dull blue with the number 117 boldly written on its sides. No conductor shouted its route. No hawkers crowded around it. Yet, one by one, certain travelers seemed strangely drawn to it, like moths circling a lamp. The faded sign on its windshield read, Lagos Direct Luxury. People said the night buses were cheaper and faster, but also riskier. Bandits roamed highways. Accidents happened often, and sometimes buses vanished without a trace. But poverty was poverty, and travelers did what they had to do. At 10:30 p.m., a young man named Chike arrived at the park. He was 26, a fresh graduate, tall, ambitious, but worried. His mother had begged him not to travel at night, but his new job in Lagos started the next morning. He couldn't afford to miss it. His friend had joked about night buses being dangerous, but Chike laughed it off. Accidents are part of life, he had earlier said in the day, trying to sound confident. Yet, standing now in front of Ghost Bus 117, he felt a cold shiver he couldn't explain. The bus driver was an old man with a scar across his face. His eyes looked heavy, almost sleepy. But when they met Chike, something dark and unsettling passed between them. Lagos Direct, the driver said in a low voice. Cheap fare, no stops. Chike hesitated, but the fare was almost half the price of the other buses. He convinced himself it was just luck. He paid and climbed inside. The bus was dimly lit, smelling of incense mixed with something metallic. He counted 10 passengers already sitting. They were quiet. Too quiet. Some stared blankly out the window. Others looked half asleep though the journey hadn't even begun. One seat remained empty beside him. As he placed his bag down, he noticed strange carvings etched into the wood of the seat in front of him. Circles with lines crossing through them. Symbols he had never seen before. Minutes later, a middle-aged woman named Ngozi entered the bus. She was a trader carrying a basket of clothes to sell in Lagos. She looked around uneasily, muttering a short prayer under her breath. She sat next to Chike, forcing a smile. Young man, may the Lord go with us, she whispered. He nodded, grateful for her presence. At 11 p.m. sharp, the bus rumbled to life. The driver didn't call out passengers' names or check tickets. He simply started the engine, and the conductor, a tall man with unusually long fingers, locked the door. The park was still full of noise and light, but as soon as bus 117 rolled out, it felt like it was entering another world. The city faded quickly behind them. The highway stretched endlessly into the night. No music played, no chatter filled the air. The bus hummed steadily, and the passengers remained oddly silent. After an hour, Ngozi leaned closer to Chike. "My son, something is not right with this bus," she said quietly. Chike wanted to disagree, but he had noticed it too. Every time he looked out the window, the same scene repeated. The same lines of trees, the same broken signpost, and the same stretch of empty road. It was as if they were settling in one place, never moving forward. "Maybe I'm tired," he muttered. But then he noticed the clock above the driver's seat. It read 12:15 a.m. 30 minutes later, he checked again. It still read 12:15 a.m. Time was not moving. Suddenly, a young boy in the back of the bus began to cry. His mother, a slim woman in her 30s, tried to calm him down. "Mama, this bus is down," the boy sobbed. "The windows are not real." His words made the hair on Chike's neck stand up. The driver did not react. The conductor simply walked down the aisle, staring at the boy with eyes that glowed faintly red. Instantly, the child went silent, almost as if his voice has been stolen. His mother looked horrified but could not speak. Chike's heart pounded. He reached for his phone to check the time, but the screen refused to light up. Dead, Ngozi tried hers too. Dead. Every passenger who attempted found the same thing. Their phones, their watches, even battery-powered devices were lifeless. Then one of the men seated in the front seat stood up. He was well dressed, carrying a briefcase. "Driver, stop this bus," he demanded. "Something is wrong here." Without a word, the conductor grabbed him by the shoulder and forced him back into his seat with an unnatural strength. Chike swore he saw the conductor's arm stretched longer than it should have. The man screamed, but the other passengers sat motionless. Their eyes glazed as though they were under a spell. Only Ngozi clutched her Bible tightly, whispering prayers. As the hours dragged on, the bus became colder. Breath fogged the air, and the windows showed no sign of dawn. Ngozi finally leaned close to Chike again. "My son," she whispered shakily. "I have heard of this before, in Onitsha Market. They spoke of a ghost bus that takes passengers at night. They said it never reaches Lagos. Instead, it delivers souls." Her words chilled him. "Deliver souls to whom?" he asked. Though he already feared the answer, Ngozi swallowed hard. "To those who feed on them, ritualists, occult people, kidnappers who use witchcraft. They say the bus is their altar." Just then, the driver began to chant softly. It was a strange language, guttural and heavy, filling the bus like smoke. The symbols carved in the seats began to glow faintly. The passengers with glazed eyes now swayed slowly as if in worship. Ngozi gripped Chike's arm. "Do not close your eyes," she warned. "Fight it. Whatever happens, stay awake." Chike nodded, though fear nearly paralyzed him. The chanting grew louder, and suddenly the bus lurched to a stop in the middle of nowhere. Outside was pure darkness, no stars, no moons, just an empty void. The doors creaked open. The conductor pointed to the man with the briefcase. "You first," he said in a voice that no longer sounded human. The man screamed, clinging to his seat, but his body lifted as if pulled by invisible hands. He was dragged down the aisle, kicking, shouting for help. He looked directly at Chike. "Please, help me." But Chike was frozen in terror. The man was flung out into the darkness. His scream cut off instantly. The door slammed shut. The bus continued moving, though no road could be seen outside. Chike felt nausea rise in his throat. "This cannot be real," he whispered. But it was. One by one, passengers were being taken. Each time the conductor would call a name, and another victim would be dragged out. Their screams vanished into the void. The other silent passengers did not react, as if they were already lost. Ngozi and Chike held hands, trembling, whispering prayers together. Finally, the conductor's eyes fell on them. He smiled, revealing teeth that were too sharp. "You too," he said, "your time has come." Chike's heart thundered. He remembered his mother's warning not to take the night bus. He remembered his father's voice telling him that danger hides in shortcuts. He remembered his pastor's words, "The spiritual world is realer than you think." Now, standing face to face with death, he realized how true it all was. Ngozi clutched her Bible and shouted, "The blood of Jesus." Her voice rang through the bus, breaking the strange chanting for a moment. The conductor staggered back, hissing. The driver snarled, turning his head fully around like an owl, but the light from God's Bible glowed faintly, pushing them back. The bus shook violently. Passengers screamed. Some dissolved into thin air, revealing that they were never human, the shadows. Chike grabbed God's hands. "Jump," he shouted. Without thinking, they ran down the aisle as the doors opened again. They leaped into darkness. Instead of falling into nothingness, they landed hard on asphalt. Cars honked, lights flashed. They were lying on the Lagos Expressway, bruised but alive. Around them, traffic roared. The bus was gone. No sign of it, no sound, nothing. Only the faint smell of incense lingered. Shaking, they stood, realizing dawn was breaking. Other travelers stared at them, confused. "Where did you come from?" one driver asked. They had no answer. All they knew was that Ghost Bus 117 had vanished, and they had survived by the mercy of God. Later, when Chike called his mother, she wept, thanking God for his life. Ngozi returned to her family, warning everyone never to take unknown night buses. But the story spread. People whispered of the bewitched bus, of kidnappers who used witchcraft to harvest souls. Many dismissed it as rumors, yet every few years, someone else vanished on the highway at night, and people remember the tale. The lesson was clear. Not every path is safe, not every bus is ordinary, and not every cheap price is worth your soul.
Please subscribe to watch more of our videos. Thank you.